Why the Shade of Pale?
Friends, welcome to Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Strings of Fate, Season 3, Episode 28, Nemesis. I just want to say we need to wrap up tonight before midnight East Coast time so I can get inside my electrified steel cage. All right, I got him. 4 months. At the very beginning of all of my intros, I have been saying some real werewolf-esque shit for months. No one has ever questioned any of it. No one has questioned any of it. And I knew that the next Saturday that had a full moon would be September the 10th, which is today. I have put this plan into motion for months and literally no one has noticed. So you know what? Fuck all of y'all. Do whatever you want. I tried so hard to make this a thing. No one questioned it.
Well, at least you did it on the same day as the trailer for Werewolf by Night came out.
I don't know what that is, but all right.
It's a Marvel show streaming in October. That's like a cliche black and white horror, like 1950s style horror spin-off with like what looks like a relatively decent cast as well.
I'm more weirded out by the fact that Red Captain or whatever Black Widow's father is going to be in Thunderbolts, man.
Red Guardian?
Red Guardian, yeah. I mean, David Harbour, excellent actor. Not sure he would still be alive in the Marvel Universe at this point. I don't know. There was a huge Marvel Disney thing today, and you know, this isn't the only one they've had recently. It's really tough keeping up. I was kind of harsh on She-Hulk to start with. And then I watched episode 2 today, and I was a little less harsh about it. It really toned back a lot of the dumb shit from the first episode. I haven't watched Thor Love and Thunder, but it's on my list. There's just so much Disney stuff. I'm getting Disney fatigued. I was solid when it was like one Star Wars movie every 3 years and like 2 Marvel movies a year. And now, in order to keep up so that I know who Quasax the Insatiable is, I gotta watch everything so that I know whether Harry Styles is in Marvel now or not, I guess. And are they ever gonna address the fact that a giant fucking hand is sticking out of the Pacific Ocean?
So right now, my wife and I are watching House of the Dragon, Rings of Power. We're still finishing Sandman. We're doing She-Hulk. She wants to watch the new Handmaid's Tale, which starts next week. And then I think Andor starts like in 2 weeks as well. Like it's getting to the point now where any night that we can't get through at least 2 shows because one of us is tired,
feels like you're falling back.
We feel like we failed. That's it. Yeah, and we're also watching The Amazing Race. That's right, the game show The Amazing Race. So it's just there is some fatigue in there. I gotta admit.
I listen, as much as I just said all of that Marvel bullshit, I am so excited for Andor because Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie. It somehow surpassed Empire Strikes Back. I really like Rogue One. It feels it's a modern Empire Strikes Back. Sure. It feels like the most gritty, awesome. The Force is mysterious and ambivalent rather than being perfectly explained. There are no Jedis, more or less, probably. I mean, that's up for grabs, but
I mean, there are no Jedis in it. That's true.
I mean, if you talk to an Inquisitor, they would say that there are no Jedis in that movie for sure as well.
Jedi is like sheep. It's the plural and the singular.
Okay.
Jedi.
The plural of manga is manga. Thank you. I also feel like it had the best villains in any Star Wars movie. Darth Vader absolutely tanked motherfuckers left and right.
But is he really the villain, or is he just a set piece at the end?
He wasn't in any of the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
They kept the leaks on that shit on fucking lockdown. They reshot a huge portion of the show to accommodate for adding Vader in at the end. And then he did it again in Fallen Order. The Jedi Fallen Order. He shows up again and does the same shit. And I'm like, oh shit, this is the shit he just fucking did in Rogue One. Oh, fuck, go Vader? Oh, that's me you're killing.
Well,
But
spoilers.
Director Krennic is such a great Imperial villain. He's trying to strive up and overtake people who are more evil than him. He's gaslighting everybody constantly. He's so good at convincing people of things. He's like, oh, look, Lyra back from the dead. He's funny.
I think the "we stand here in the midst of my achievement" is one of the best like shithead villain lines.
Vader
ever.
choking him, saying, "Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director." I was like, damn, dude, that's some classic Anakin sass right there. Oh, what a great
I'm
bridge
glad-
from the prequels.
I'm glad to see they've got Ben Mendelsohn back for his role in Secret War or Secret Invasion as well, like redoing the scroll.
Yeah, the scroll.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
It looks like they're bringing all of the American secret agents back for Secret Invasion. All the like side characters are coming back, and they're like, "Hey, remember I exist? I'm a member of the Central Intelligence Agency." I'm like, "Damn, that guy does exist." Other than that, I beat Total Warhammer 3's Immortal Empires campaign, which took a while. It was a real pain in the ass, but I literally just beat it right before the show started today. Felt
The
great.
long victory or the short victory?
Campaign
The
victory, actually.
ultimate victory.
Oh,
Over the
okay.
last 24 hours, I got short victory, long victory, and ultimate campaign victory. I fucking listen. Forget a flush. I got a full house here. All right, is a flush better than full house? I got a royal flush here. There we go. How about that?
It's not that hard once you get rolling. It's
Well,
Eventually
Yeah,
it just
it's
gets
like
repetitive.
I was about to say it. It sounds
Have you
exactly
hit?
like a
Have you hit the
roguelike.
end game scenario yet?
I'm
don't
about
know.
to do the Black Pyramid.
Oh, you'll fucking know. Yeah, Black Pyramid sounds like a real pain in the ass. Listen
Yeah.
up, motherfucker. I had 2 orcish allies on my border, and I was like, I don't need to kill them. I can ally with them and then kill their faction leaders later. The fucking endgame scenario was orcish wog.
Yeah,
So all the
Great
greenskins
Wall.
in the world immediately went to war with me. They all got 820 stacks and started, all of my allies poured over my completely undefended border and took like 6 towns in one turn. And I was like, it's fucking on, Gabe. You think you could do this to me? And then when I realized if I sniped their leaders, I would get all of their territories, all my territories back, and their armies, I was like, that's it, motherfucker. We going undercrawling, we going webway, whatever you're gonna call it. I'm gonna find fucking Azag the Slaughterer. I'm gonna back him into a corner, and I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him for what he did to me. You're the butcher of Uzalak, you motherfucker. I just want to say, Uzalak is a shit show if you're a greenskin. It's like the gateway to the north. I had like 6 major battles at Uzalak. It's just if an undead showed up at Uzalak, they would just raise an army. That's all there would be to it. It would be a fucking pristine battleground for them. Motherfucking Uzalak. Fuck that. Goddamn. It's a little tiny fort in the middle of a mountain range. It's the only path between north and south. Oh my god, I can't believe how many times I had to retake it. What a pain in the ass. And every time someone else would retake it, they would burn it to the fucking ground. So I have to rebuild all the defense buildings.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's what I'm up to. Dave, motherfucking Henley, what do you got going on? Oh, he's taking a drink. All right, we'll wait a minute.
Not much. Got me one of these.
What is
Hey,
that?
Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Okay, I can just
Let
see
me-
us
let me
reflected in a
wave-
really
yes,
black.
Let me wave to myself in it.
It's awesome. It's so light. Like
Cool.
everyone, I got it for work, as it turns out, because it does take a lot of work.
It's like a game console, or
It's a Valve-made handheld that runs everything on their store, basically.
okay.
With it's a Linux distro operating system PC console. As weird as that sounds. So there's a lot of work that goes into making your game compliant for a Steam Deck. There's a lot of strange shit, but it's weird. It's got like every functionality under the sun in there. touchscreen, 9,000 buttons on the fucking thing. It's insane. Like, I haven't seen anything like this before. My only gripe is that it has like 3 to 4 hours of battery, but like, I've been like, the thing about my lifestyle, I don't play video games anymore, as it turns out. I just don't have the time for it. So now I can just, sit on the couch and knock out like Ace Attorney, for example. I've been wanting to play that game, but it's just like reading a book, though. Right?
I got through the first chapter of that, and I was like, "How do people enjoy this?"
I mean, it's fun when it's like, I came from a background of every game I played I had to monetize in some way. And now I'm starting to get back into playing a game for it being interesting. Right. And that to me was like a huge change in the mentality of how I look at video games. So now I don't buy games as much as I used to. And I don't know, this thing is actually helping me get through some of my backlog that I've been meaning to replay or finish or whatever.
But now I've never heard of it because I looked it up on the Steam to see the price, and it's like, this product's not available in your country.
Yeah, it's not available in Australia right now. Yeah. It's strange because like I was like, oh, okay. They gave me my pre-order window. I purchased it, and I was like, okay, it'll be here in like 5 weeks or whatever, right? And it's like, no. Oh, it's like 20 hours away. Here you go. Here's the next day. Here's your Steam Deck. I'm like, holy shit. What the fuck? It comes in like the nicest package I've ever received anything in my entire life, mind you. Like, they do such a really good job of like packaging it all together. But I've just been. Oh, I purchased a TV. Actually, that was fun. So I don't know if you guys have the same mentality. I mean, maybe Pondo, maybe you're going through this. I don't know if you're purchasing new stuff for your house or whatever. Spoon, you moved as well, right? So like, but I want to buy something that I don't have to buy again for like 20 years. You know what I mean? Like when I look at a TV, I'm just like, is this going to last me 20 years? Like
buy a refrigerator.
I didn't have to buy a refrigerator, actually. There was one already in the house, luckily. So
was it a French door refrigerator?
I wanted it to be, but no, the guy already renovated the kitchen when we moved in here, so it had like oven and microwave and fridge built in and stuff. My ideal refrigerator is a double door that's plumbed so that it has cool water and ice all the time, I don't have to fill up any fucking reservoirs or anything like that.
That's pretty standard.
Are you guys a top freezer or bottom freezer?
I would prefer a chest freezer and have like a fridge separate, but
Sure.
I
grew up on a farm where you have to like where you butcher an animal and then you have to keep it for like a year. So like it's a bit of a different experience, but but yeah, I went through and bought this TV. And I was like looking everywhere, and I ended up coming down on the LG C1, which is like apparently it's an OLED, and it's like a 2019 model of TV. Like they released a C2, which is a little bit brighter for double the money basically. And I'm like, So now I had to like rush around to like try and get the C1 because apparently they've stopped making the C1. And I was like, oh, the only difference is that it's a little bit brighter in the second one. And it's like, apparently like a huge favorite TV that everyone loves. And I was like, oh my God. Kind of want to just make sure I get this. And, I've got a couch coming, got a table. I don't know about you guys, but I hate living in a house where I'm not comfortable. And right now I'm like sitting on like a deck chair or like a lawn chair in my living room, it's just like the only two comfortable chairs in the house I have are like my wife's breastfeeding chair and my office chair. My office chair is like fucking garbage. So, And then you have the bed, and that's it. That's all we have, and it's like, yeah,
It's rough.
no doors, no stairs, and oh, my favorite thing that happened recently was we had a plumber doing all our finishings in our bathrooms, and he did 90% of the finishings, and then he just calls me up and he's like, I don't want to do the work anymore. 90% of them. Right? So now you try finding a contractor for 10% of the finishings in a house. No one wants to take a small job.
Yeah.
No,
You know what I mean?
Did you pay that
Gotta go
guy
on
up front?
Fiverr.
Because I would have been like, you'll finish them if you want your money.
No, I didn't pay him.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would
He's
look
like,
at your
Fair enough.
look at your contract on that one, but
And he's like, yeah, okay, I won't take the money. I just don't want to come out to the house and finish it anymore. I'm just like, what the fuck,
That's
man? This is
wild, man.
so wild. Because he's like, does it on the side, right? Because he's like so what he does normally is like he installs showers. Right, like he does all like the glass moving and that sort of stuff. And he used to be a plumber, and he does plumbing on the side. And he's just so I have to finish 10% of the finishings for plumbing. So that means I have to buy everything to do 10% of the fucking finishings. It's so annoying. Like I don't have a drill. Right, I've just been mostly borrowing like friends' gear to like put together stuff. So I have to go through tile, through brick in order to install a hanging sink and then plumb that sink. And it's just like there's so much shit that I need to purchase in order to make that happen instead of just having a guy come over and do 10 minutes of work.
Welcome to the joys of home ownership, man.
Oh, so annoying.
Yeah.
That's wild that a guy is just randomly like,
Yeah, that was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do it anymore. Even though basically finished the job and I'm not going to get paid for it now. Like,
so I also have to like, because the plumbing pipe is recessed, so I have to like extend it, and then I have to like put in the tap, and then I have to put that the battery. I don't know if it's called the battery, but we call it a battery here in Europe, which is like the tap where the water comes out. So the plumbing for the tap into that little tap that you go into the wall. So I have to install the wall tap myself. And the problem is it's not a difficult job. It's just like if you make a mistake, if you make a mistake, it's just like there's a drip forever. You know, it's just like, and then, so you have to put hair in it and you have to like grease it, and then you have to make sure that it's tight enough that it doesn't drip. And if it does drip, you have to take it off, strip all that shit off, redo it until it doesn't drip. And it's just like, it's a simple job, but it's like, if you do it wrong, it's just going to drip forever. It's just,
yep.
Oh, so annoying. So annoying. Anyway.
I mean, I'll tell you a plumbing issue that the owners knew but didn't tell us, or like, hey, here's this. So we have a bath at the upstairs level, and issue with it tub was that it was, when it was used and drained, it would leak down in the basement and the laundry room and whatnot. So one day I was looking down there and I noticed that they just had like some peel and stick wallpaper they slapped on the wall, and it peeled away. I noticed that there's more like wallpaper that looked like it was a paintable kind, and that it was looking kind of like black. And I was like, that's not good.
That's bad.
And so I peeled some of that away. I was, yep, that's mold. So I had to redo all that plumbing just to get it working.
Is it still cast iron? Because you got old houses, right? Or have you got new shit?
No, it was. I think all the section we did. Bruce replaced everything with PVC. That was for that, what we could or had to. A lot of mine's copper pipe.
Should have gone with PEX. PEX piping is where it's at, man.
Where I come from, you use lead pipes insulated with asbestos. All right, it's time proven.
And then you drink it.
Yeah.
Many years ago, mate and I restored an old Mini Cooper, and we first we did was strip the paint. We stripped 7 layers of paint off it, including 1 layer of house paint. 1 layer of house paint.
Oh my god!
I didn't mention someone fucking keyed my goddamn car again. It's the 3rd time
Jesus.
it's been keyed. Birds shit on it all the time. It gets keyed constantly. I don't know. My car is cursed now. I don't know what the fuck has happened.
Is it getting keyed at your house?
No, it's getting keyed when I'm out shopping.
Like like big, like long streak of a key.
No, that's the thing. It's only like an inch long every single time. They don't even dent it or anything. It's not like somebody's jabbing it in there. They're just like, eek. I'm not replacing the door this time. I'm gonna find some fucking sandstone metallic paint and paint it back on. Just fuck it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, as long as the electronics work.
I've been keyed once when I had a show car that I always parked in my garage, and then one night I decided to leave it on the road while I was working my wife's car, and that night someone put a key down completely on both sides, and it was pearlized paint too, so it was about $8,000 to fix.
I don't understand.
What's with these people?
I don't get it.
Is it?
Yeah. So the only other thing I can say about my renovations right now is, remember last time we talked, I was like, oh, it's going to be like 16,000 zloty to do like the doors in this place.
Mm-hmm.
So, stroke of luck, we went in to buy the doors after a guy came and measured all of the doors because, I'm not installing doors myself. Can I get that's a huge fuck that, because if I fuck up a door, I'm going to hate myself forever, right? Like,
because it's going to go tonk and not shut.
Yeah, exactly. Or get stuck or whatever, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we had a guy come measure all the stuff, and then we went in and paid for it. And the guy's like, oh, there's a discount going on right now. Like every 3rd door you get for free. And I'm like, hello. So we went from 16,000
extra door.
We went from 16,000 down to like 8,000. And I was like,
that's pretty good. I think it's about 1,000 US.
Yeah.
Whoa, listen, for the folks at home that can't do the quick math, 8,000 Polish zloty is 17,000 Norwegian kroner. So,
and it's about 2,000 USD.
You'd be the only person in the world, Dave, that saves money on a renovation.
Didn't we also make that same joke this last episode?
Oh, whenever someone mentions currency conversion, I always switch it to Norwegian kroner.
Yeah. Arthur thinks that the more you say the joke, the funnier it gets, rather than the opposite.
It is an ancient tradition among subtitle translators from the old age of anime. It's fan translation joke.
They use that whenever you read a Korean manhwa, and it's like, oh, 1 million fucking Korean gobbledygoops, and they're just like, that's about 25,000
Norwegian kroner. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm doing my part to keep. First off, I'm doing my part.
Would you like to know more?
To keep this tradition alive. It's a meme, and if y'all don't get it, that's fine. You're soulless bastards who have no understanding of the anime culture of the past.
We are not also men of culture, I guess.
Oh my god!
I'm really...
Please don't put me in that camp.
So I'm giving CD Projekt Red one more.
Hey, they've had a pretty good run on expansions.
Yeah, I'm giving them one more chance.
The Witcher 3 expansions, I understand, were very good.
I'm going to give them one more chance, and that comes on the anime, right? If they can get Studio Trigger and Cyberpunk IP, and then combine them, and then still fuck that up,
I feel like
I don't know.
That's rough because Trigger hasn't really had any misses. Even its least known product, His Neighbor, was still absolutely fucking insanely good. So
yeah. So
I feel like you're setting too low of a bar, to be honest.
And then if I enjoy that, then I'll be like, great, cool. You have me coming back. And then the new trailer for the what is it? The Patriot something.
Phantom Liberty.
That looked pretty good, and having they can do some really interesting things with that. I actually tried to launch the game recently, and I hate it when games do this shit. I don't know why it happens, but they must have like changed how the game works, because I went in there and it's like, hey, you're all these levels, and I'm like, yeah, I remember being those levels, and they're like, hey, yeah, just reassign all your skill points, and I'm like,
Oh,
I don't remember what I did.
Well, for me, I had already crafted all the best gear, so that is the best possible outcome for me.
Arthur, here's the thing. I did the same thing, and then I went in the game, and I'm like, wait, where's all my guns and stuff? Turns out that they strip all that stuff away from you and put it in your inventory, and they don't let you use it until you assign the skill points to be able to craft the item to let you use it.
that's
And I
My
was like, oh my
character
God.
is standing around naked rather than wearing Johnny Silverhand's custom crafted gear.
Yeah, but they did add in transmog now, finally.
I wouldn't want to look like anybody but Johnny Silverhand.
And now you can look like a trash hobo.
I mean,
Still a John Hill.
at least one ending, I still am Johnny Silverhand, so,
And the other thing that I noticed as well, like, I had a perfect, like, crit, build. I remember doing, like, high crit damage. And I went in there and I had a lot of, like, add-ons for, like, armor and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. I was pretty sure I had all these add-ons put in. And it turns out that I was, like, apparently saving them for something, because I had, like, shitloads of them. And I was like, oh, I'll just put it in here. And then I realized that it's like, no, you can't do that, because if you want to remove them, you have to destroy the item or destroy the thing. It's like, oh my God. Can't win. And all I did was like put it on the Steam Deck for like 10 minutes, and I think I fucked my save because of all that shit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm probably never going to play that game again. We'll see.
You'll be back. You'll be back for Phantom Liberty. Get you.
Maybe, but I would probably like have to spend more than like 20 minutes dicking around in my save file to get back to that point. But yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I took my daughter for the first time today to a concert, which was interesting. It was like a folklore band orchestra with like dancing and stuff. It's very strange, but my daughter has this habit of like just babbling really loudly now. So when they were like doing the orchestra, like she just started babbling like super loud, and all the people around her were like, oh, that's cute, but like, shut your baby up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me, because what are they going to tell me? Like, something in Polish? Like, yeah, cool. Go ahead. I can't understand you.
Well, Dave, fancy a hand of Gwent? I've been doing the Gwent nod for like 4 minutes.
Is that like your attempt at like playing me off because I'm talking too much?
No. I was just doing the Gwent nod because I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I love the Gwent nod. Listen, Dave, if I was going to play you off, it would probably be like Yakety Sax or and now for something completely different. Yeah, and now for something completely different. Honda, what do you got going on?
I don't have much. I messed around some soldering, burned myself several times.
Nice.
What were you soldering?
Huh?
His fingers.
I mean, yeah, I guess technically.
Yeah, I did solder my fingers a couple times. No, I did the thing where I got too close to the metal and touched it, and I'm like, ow.
That reminds me of the like ad for the soldering kit, where like the lady in the advert has like a full grip on like the hot part of the metal of the soldering gun. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
Bad stock photos of my job. Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing I dealt with today, our tinner was not working because the fuse blew. No, I didn't expect I was going to get the replacement fuses today, but I did. So that was fun to deal with. I keep repeating myself all day. Say, I can't make you what you want. I can't make you what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been
Oh,
there.
no, I have a burning question. I'm sorry, my dude. Is that wall behind you actual wood, or is it like...
No, it's actual
Vinyl.
tongue groove wood. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that something that you like the look of, or are you going to replace that eventually? Like, what's the
I
deal?
don't know. I think if anything, I'll paint it.
Is
It
it a
kinda-
feature wall?
it kinda
Is it the only wall in the room like that, or it's the whole room like that?
No, it's the whole basement area essentially.
Yeah, because I was about to say that kind of shit like dates a house like super bad.
Yeah,
it was
I was
back in
saying,
the- I mean, it was built back in the '60s.
yeah,
like late
probably-
60s?
You can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably made like so the solid wood paneling went away for a little bit in the 90s, or I'm sorry, in the 80s, and then made a comeback like early 90s.
Yeah.
Do you have wood floors like that as well?
No. Shag carpeting, actually.
Can you lift it up and then there's like nice wood underneath? Because they used to do that too.
No, it's all plywood. I was hoping for that for
That's
upstairs,
rough.
but it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
If the
So it's
walls
always-
are wood and the floors might be wood.
Well, actually, it might be concrete down here. I don't know. I have to double check. I haven't checked in the basement yet, but I know upstairs is plywood. I was hoping there'd be like hardwood upstairs, but there's not.
I mean, it's everybody's doing luxury vinyl plank these days anyway. Like,
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm changing my downstairs from tiles to engineered hardwood.
Why isn't tiles? I would have thought that. Is it too cold? Like, what's the reason?
No, my wife just likes wooden floors,
Okay.
and it's
Well-
funny to watch the dog slide around trying to get purchased on like slippery floor.
I mean, you're
my
not
God,
getting
shit.
rid of that with the hardwood floors unless you're going with the not as glossy finish.
Oh my god, you just reminded me right now. Like, so my dog is a pretty normal dog, right? Except he went from being a ninja in the last house to just being like a tap dancer in this house, like because of the floor that we have, and it kind of drives me insane because like he likes to like watch the baby sleep and watch over the baby, but like
Yeah.
if he moves.
wakes the baby up.
Wakes the baby. Oh, okay. Anyway, sorry. Please continue, Bondo. I just interrupted about your walls. So
No, it's all right. No, I tell you the truth. Yeah, if anything, I'll paint it because I don't feel like because there's a bunch of spots where they puttied the nail holes, but they didn't refinish or stain it or anything, so it's kind of an eyesore.
Yeah.
But as far as what I was kind of soldering together stuff to make a gaming keypad that I 3D printed all the parts now. I've actually painted some of them. It's like this is the base. So and then for a while I was trying to figure out coding and I wasn't getting anything right. I was even copying people exactly what they did for basic stuff and it wasn't working for me. So I gave up.
My code, right? Python or
Usually a really bad sign.
Yeah. It was Circuit Python
okay.
for the Raspberry Pi Pico, which was supposed to be easy. I think it's supposed to be easy. I don't know. I got frustrated because I spent a whole weekend, like whole 3 days trying to figure it out and it wasn't working out for me.
We have a Raspberry Pi master on the Discord server, the Salty Maker.
Do we?
I'm going to reach out to him. Been doing it for like decades.
I didn't know that. Interesting. I'll have to get a hold
Just
of
hit him
then.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
spent a bit of
literally
time-
the one useful thing that my community does is allow different people who aren't me to talk to each other and do something useful together.
I spent a bit of time with Raspberry Pi when I was playing a lot of Artemis Bridge Simulator, trying to like make up the stuff to have like the red alert lights in the room, that sort of stuff, And
I was involved in the development of that game.
oh, look at you.
Artemis?
Yeah, Artemis Spaceship Bridge Simulator. Yeah,
Nice.
we were the ones that proved it could be played over Hamachi for like virtual lands and stuff.
Oh my god, Hamachi. Holy
They gave
fuck.
us all free copies for it.
Oh.
I was insistent. I told him we could definitely do it, and he said he didn't think it'd be possible, and I proved that we could do it. And then I think he
Now-
basically updated the game so that it would be multiplayer anyway, and didn't need virtual lamb like Hamachi. What's your beef with Hamachi?
Nothing. It's just
Alright.
a blast from the past.
Yeah, like Pigeon
It's like-
or MIRC.
My favorite thing about Hamachi is just like, hey man, I'm trying to connect to your game online. It's like, oh, it's not working. Okay, load up Hamachi, then try again. And all of a sudden, magical tunnel appears to the other person.
Yeah. Yeah.
It definitely got around some router issues.
Hamachi.
Wow. All right. Everybody's just saying that word a lot now. It's making me nervous that it
I was
means
like-
something.
No. Because I was like, what is this? Oh, right. I remember that.
Spoon, I got another one for you. Ventrilo.
And Trillo is still around. People still
Yeah,
use it.
people still use it.
And
Yeah.
TeamSpeak 3. Yeah.
Mhm.
Most of those people are
Ventrilo's
World of
just funnier
Warcraft.
to
But,
say.
Oh, there you go. Hamachi was bought out by Log Me In.
Which is like
That was
the
a long
original
time
Skype
ago.
people. Yeah.
Me and Hamachi.
Pondo, you got anything else?
No, not at the moment. No.
Big Spoon. What's going on with you?
So the Buffalo Bills won their season opener last night.
That's the golf team, right?
Two nights ago. Thursday night. No, it is the New York
I'm
football
baiting
team.
you. I am.
Yeah.
You have to know that I'm baiting.
See, but when you bait me, I just take you. I just respond seriously because you might know, but somebody else out there doesn't.
Got a point. It's got a
Yeah.
point.
It'd be pretty tough for someone not to know. But, okay.
I mean,
going.
listen, we're not all Americans, and we're not all fans of American football.
Yeah, just because we're
Almost
all
none of
male,
us are fans
we're
of
all
American football, but all right. Actually, fuck that. There is a huge number of sports fans in my community in a way that baffles me.
That is funny.
There's dozens
That
of
is
us, AP.
I know.
That's
It's like how every member of my community abstains from drinking alcohol, and I'm like, who am I going to talk to about this? Glimo? Is that it? It's just Glimo?
I
it
drink
seems like Limo talks
really
about
hard.
like really fancy stuff too.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
Glimo
it's
drinks some
like
like top
Glimo's
end
a-
wine, dude.
Glimo's a high class.
Oh, damn.
here's my 10 years aged bourbon that I have.
Yep. Started watching Rings of Power and House of the Dragon. I'm only one episode into House of the Dragon because I watched and I went, this is cautiously optimistic.
I don't understand why the
don't think
two of
they're
you
gonna
are
be able to pull it
committing.
off.
Why are you committing to a Game of Thrones show? You have to know
See,
will only end.
I'm not committing to the Game of Thrones show because I said, all right, I'm going to watch the first episode of House of the Dragon, and then I'm going to watch the first episode of Rings of Power. And whichever one I like more is going to be the one that I'm like, keep up on.
So you
and I'll
chose
just
Rings
wait.
of Power.
Yeah, yes, it's
Real-
Rings of Power.
Yeah, Rings of Power, you go to episode 3. Well, it really improves out if episode 3. So,
I mean,
Spoon, I have a question for you.
yeah, go ahead.
In a show like that,
Mhm.
do you get pulled out when you recognize someone that's too recognizable in the show? Like for me, I watched the first episode of House of Dragon.
Matt
I haven't,
Matt Smith.
Yes.
See, so I didn't because I love the way that he looks as Daemon Targaryen. Like I think he is
No, he
spot
looks
on.
He looks good, and he looks perfect to the point where it drags everyone else down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Or,
it makes everyone else in the show look like absolute dog shit in comparison. Right? Like
I mean, so like I will say, like now that you say that, I have been like, wow, like Daemon Targaryen, like Matt Smith as Daemon Targaryen is like perfect, but I don't really care about a ton of the other characters, like except for like Rhaenyra was pretty good.
so is she intentionally supposed to look like Daenerys? Because she doesn't.
I mean, she looks like not like they're just Targaryens.
yeah.
Like they're
like to me it's like they hit that they like perfectly found someone who's uncanny.
yeah.
You know, that uncanny valley. And it's just like, oh, they're kind of related. It's like It's like 200 years in the past. Why does it fucking matter if they're like have the similar
because they're so inbred.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're probably closer related than you think.
Yeah. Every time I saw that character, I was just like, there's something a little off about her face. It's just like, anyway.
Well, like,
it's not a spoiler, but they get to episode 3 before they start saying, "Hey, you know what? You should have your daughter marry your son." That'd work. That'd fix up this whole Civil War thing.
Oh my god, I remember when that happened in an anime, and I was like, "Okay, I'm done. I'm fucking done." It's a modern Japanese school, and the dad is like, "You should marry your sister," and I was like, "I'm out. I'm fucking out. I don't understand." Couple of cuckoos. Why you thought anyone would stick around after this point? It would solve a lot of problems for me if you would just marry your sister. Listen,
yeah, so
I have a question about Rings of Power. I saw a meme that Rings of Power is just Elrond and another elf following Galadriel around going, "Come on, Grandma, the dark forces are rising again. Let's get you to the Westlands. Come on."
I'm actually really enjoying. I'm enjoying the Elrond story more than the Galadriel story.
Dude,
at the moment.
so yeah, like because you said it gets much better after episode 3. For me, that's episode 2 when
With the dwarves.
With Prince Durin. Like that's what I was like, I'm in. But yeah, so I've been really enjoying Rings of Power. Like I feel like a lot of it is fairly obvious, like as far as like character reveals and shit like that.
Is Sauron in
it? Not yet. We haven't met his character yet.
All right.
Well, in flashbacks sort of stuff, you know.
Well, yeah. And like
he's still an elf at this point, right? Or he's like a Valar elf or something.
He's so I guess theoretically he's a Maiar at this point, or pretending to be a Maiar. But yeah, I'm like, you know, we'll see. But I've been enjoying it. I like it. It looks gorgeous. Like it looks like Middle Earth, how Middle Earth should look like.
Are they at the point where it's trees, lamps, or sun?
It is sun.
Yeah,
okay.
They started off with the trees bit, even though they're sun now.
Right. Yeah, the trees have the
is
lamps
the world
have been darkened.
still flat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the world is still flat.
All right. If the world is still flat, then
the island of Numenor is still inhabited by men.
Okay. So the elvish Westlands haven't been broken off from reality yet. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I understand where we are at the timeline now. The Isle of Numenor still stands.
Yes.
Wow, 200 generations. I bet there's going to be a pretty good king that returns.
Yeah, you know.
I love that Elrond is like, "Yes, Aragorn, son of Arathorn, my nephew."
Yes, my great nephew. Yeah, anyway, so that's kind of what I've been up to. Achieved a short victory as the Men of the Empire in Total War Warhammer 3. That's about it.
It's pretty clear that men are super biased and get a very easy short victory compared to some races.
Yeah. Okay, hang on a second. We start with, you know, one of the new chaos champions directly in the center of the empire, like in the soft. He starts in I think he starts in Brass Keep. Festus, the Fecundities.
Valky is the one that takes over everything, man. Festus, I don't even know that guy.
I had to reforge the empire with scraps in a cave.
Okay. It must be really hard without heavy infantry.
Yeah, well, I do have a ton of great swords.
That's not heavy infantry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You may have noticed a complete lack of shields or any defensive capability at all.
Yeah. Well, you got full plate. That's heavy infantry to me. I've got my painting station set up in the new house, so I'm gonna get back to painting my BattleTech minis. So probably posting those up on the Discord when I get the next batch finished. So looking forward to that.
Okay. You got anything else?
That's about it.
Before we go to James, I have 2 announcements. 1, I have 1 million views on YouTube.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Number 2, I want to talk a little bit about Androchiron's plan and what went wrong. You may recall during the episode where I came up with Androchiron's plan, I was trying not to pay attention to what was going on. I closed my eyes, tried to shut in everything around me. And I was like, all right, I need a plan that will get me a god, and I have to trick them into being nice to the humans. And it can't be Aisha, even though I'm going to say it's going to be Aisha, because it clearly can't be her, because it would be insane to go to the Garden of Nurgle, which is why the plan I told people is I need to get a meeting with Kegarak. And I told everyone that was the plan, and then, because I know that our opponent is Tzeentch, and he can read people's dreams, I stationed a null outside of Androchiron's door so his dreams couldn't be read, and therefore the real plan could never be read, because the plan was to go to Kegarak and be like, hey, listen, I lied to everybody. I'm a trickster like you. Look at this great plan I had. I need you to save humanity and also the Eldar. That was the real plan, but now we're going full speed on this fucking Nurgle plan, brother. I can't wait to come back infested with all kinds of weird demonic shit. We're going to do some freaky stuff this episode, and I'm going to introduce you to the guy that's going to do that weird freaky stuff. James, how's it going?
Doing good. Yeah, look, I mean, if you think
can't wait to have ice talks where I should have arms.
If you think you fucked up so far, we wait to see what happens. Yeah, the next few episodes. So.
I can wait to see what happens next.
What have I been doing? So you might recall, probably a few months ago, I decided to do a little 8-team Blood Bowl league of my own at home, just to work out what team I would play in a face-to-face league happening in Sydney, and I really enjoyed that sort of that doing that little league, which eight teams, round robin is 20 matches followed by semi-finals and a final, so 23 matches altogether to do an 8-team league. And my son was enjoying watching it, so we got really. I thought afterwards, you know what, I want to do this some more. I'm going to double. I'm going to do 16 teams. And I thought, 16 teams, double 20s, 40 games. That's right. No, that's not how it works. It's 15 rounds of 8 games each. It's 120 games plus finals. So I've been playing 3 or so Blood Bowl matches every day for the past several weeks, and I'm 2 games now from the end of the rounds to go into the quarterfinals. And every night my son's like, "Hey, can we do some more Blood Bowl?" So it's been a lot of fun. And we're talking about okay, what's next after we finish this massive league? What are we going to do next? We're not going to do a 32-team league. We're probably we're going to break it down into a couple of divisions again. Maybe come back for another big league later on. But yeah, we're really having a lot of fun playing Blood Bowl. Meanwhile, the face-to-face group I was joining has completely fallen apart. So
scheduling issues.
Scheduling issues. Exactly right. Yeah, that's it.
Is that generic fantasy adventure I hear?
Well, as it turns out, actually, because you move the date back, I'm going to be in Melbourne on that day, but I've made sure that I will be in a hotel at that time, ready to play GFA
for the new starting date.
For the new starting date.
Okay, just making sure. You didn't mean for the previous starting date.
No, I made sure.
Okay.
Because so travel this don't happen. Maybe my trip to Korea got cancelled, but I have Dubai coming up next month as well. I got to factor in around gaming too. But otherwise, I'm enjoying all the various stuff like catching up now on Oath of Ender Steel again. I finally got around to watching the group finale of Solaris Knights. You debrief.
Mm-hmm.
Did it feel very debriefy to you as an audience member?
Yeah, look,
Did it answer all the questions
actually,
you were looking?
Look, I actually really like the format to the point. Like, I would love to do this more with games that finish. Is almost have like a debrief, because a lot of the times, like you may have noticed, I try to roll a lot of different convergent plots and nuancing together, and sometimes if it hadn't been obvious to the players afterwards to say, hey, just so you know, this is why this happened and that sort of stuff, but, oh, okay, that makes sense then. Or at least try to pretend that I thought of it in advance rather than just making it up on the spot.
There's this guy, his name is Greedier. See?
Exactly. So that's been it for me, really. Just work and catching up on shows and playing Blood Bowl and painting Horus Heresy images. I'm going to be playing my first game of Horus Heresy this evening, my time. So several hours after the game here, but going to have a go of my Salamanders versus someone else's Iron Hands. So
I think you're about to catch those hands.
Well, so yes. Salamanders are generally regarded by the competitive community as the worst army in the new Horus Heresy.
Oh yeah.
So
but they're the good guys.
Flamers are so weak now, and I've gone like all flame.
Yeah.
Only because it's thematic. So,
James, I have a legitimate question for you.
That's not a wooden wall behind me, by the way. That's plasterboard. So.
Okay, cool. In response to recent events, right?
Yeah.
Are you upset about the $5 bill in Australia changing?
Are they changing the note? I don't know if they are changing the note. So I know they're changing the coins, and they won't change till next year. But I've learned all these things, like when they have a new monarch, they have to change the direction the profile is facing with each monarch. So whereas the queen always face right, the king now will have to face left on the new coins. And there's a cap on how long coins with the queen's face remain legal tender. Like, it's like decades, but there is still actually a point where they say this is no longer legal tender. Yeah.
You don't want your Chuck bucks?
So the reason, in case the non-Australians don't realize, the current $5 bill in Australia can be folded in a particular way to make a very interesting picture. Here we go. Can he do it on the screen?
I don't know what fold you're talking about. I'm just showing a $5 bill. So
okay, fold it so that just her chin downwards.
No,
is
don't
folded.
do this, James. All right,
Okay.
Dave wants it to happen. That's why I'm sure it definitely should not be broadcast on the internet.
Just do it for yourself.
Yeah.
See if you can see the picture. Yeah.
So this is what I quite like about Australian notes. So this is the Australian $10 note, all right, and that the person on the picture here is a poet named Banjo Patterson who wrote a lot of poems, and his most famous poem is a poem called "The Man from Surrey River." And if you have a microscope and you put this note under a microscope, the entire lyrics of the poem are micro printed, where that like the dots on the back of his face is actually the micro printing of the poem. So it's part of the whole sort of that layers of preventing counterfeiting.
Also,
Okay.
fun fact: if you have the money inside of a pocket and you put that pocket in a washing machine, you don't ruin your money.
Yeah, because it's plastic. Yeah, that's it.
It's
But
plastic.
I don't carry cash anymore. Like no one uses cash. This is how I pay for everything. And my driver's license on here now. Like I literally don't even carry. This stays in my study, never even going out. There's nothing in here I need except my Medicare card to go to the doctor. That's
And you know
literally
what else
anything
is
I ever put on my
funny?
card.
About modern day stuff, like everyone has a phone, so no one wants to steal your fucking phone anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's very likely that the person who's going to rob you will have a better phone than you.
No, people
what I
still
mean?
steal phones for sure. You're vastly
Maybe
overestimating.
in America.
Sure. I don't believe that's true. I think that a phone is a very, very stealable, easily fensible item. I just want to say, you can talk about how superior your plastic money is, but unless you make your money out of paper, how are you going to be able to wash and launder all your cash, which commit drug crimes? Nothing?
Well,
No? All right.
I
It was a
mean,
bit of a
it's
stretch,
mostly-
but
Yeah, okay.
at the very least, you can wash your American dollar bills to get the cocaine out of them. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you can also do that with the Australian money.
That's it. Hey! Without paper money, the entire plot of Reacher would be useless. So the whole first season of Reacher,
That's true.
Without paper money, couldn't be done. You know,
I now feel
Breaking
like I
Bad.
have to watch Reacher just for that.
It's-
I don't
it's
understand,
good.
but it seems like it's going to be good.
It's good.
Reacher was so strange because it's just like you have to suspend your disbelief.
But it's it's like Breaking Bad.
much.
If you have universal healthcare, Breaking
I
Bad
don't
can't
understand.
happen.
Yeah, why he gets cancer treatment
Well,
money. Yeah.
so like, I'll like the moment in Reacher where you go, what? Is when he goes, yeah, I have my pension wired to me. I went, I'm sorry, what? It's like, that's when we realized, oh, right, the books are old.
No, for me it was like, for me it was pretty much like, oh yeah, I'm just a homeless man that can walk into town and solve crimes by killing people.
That is
And
American
no one
policing,
cares.
though. I don't understand what the
like that's par for the course. Like,
And not just killing people, but like blowing up factories. No.
Again, I'm pretty sure that's how Burn Notice worked for like every season.
Yeah, but that's Miami. That's different, man.
Yes,
I mean, this is
Miami,
Georgia.
a not American location.
What I'm saying is Miami is like a crime capital, right?
Yes,
Like,
of course.
anyway, Burn Notice is great. Go watch Burn Notice.
It
Don't
is
watch
great.
Preacher, watch Burn Notice. Yeah.
Watch them both.
I've seen
At the
Burn
same
Notice
time.
3 times. I definitely don't need to watch it again. I can do all of the fucking lines. All right, James, let's keep going. What do you got?
All right, clip it there. All right, previously
Clip it there.
on-
Whoa. I'm not, whoa. This time I wasn't
wasn't
ready for it. I'm good. Go now.
Okay. Previously on Rogue Trader Strings of Fate, the Cowles fleet returns to Footfall to discover total unrest following the assassination of Liege Tanthus Morris and the Seven Witches. During an attempt to make a deal with the Casbalica to supply weapons, the group is attacked by Xenos monstrosities, which appear to be gestalt organisms of worms in a vaguely humanoid form. Leaving Footfall, the ships of the Cowles fleet re-enter the Moor for the return to the Calixis sector, having turned over navigation of the Hand of Calixis to Wulfric Nostromo. During a brief stop in the temple, Pierre has his Empress Tarot read one more time for him by one of Dominic Armelon's astropaths. Arriving in the Sacris system, the group makes contact with the Storm Wardens and is able to convince the chapter master to involve them in the secret affairs of the chapter. Thought for the day, all our ignorances bring us closer to annihilation. So I think the last thing we'd done was you'd been flown down to the surface of Sacris by the Storm Wardens, and you're getting off their Storm Eagle or whatever it was at the time, Thunderhawk.
Did we
So-
get our complimentary kilts?
We're here to solve crimes with guns.
I mean, Sacris by description is supposed to be just like Scottish moors is their ecosystem. The whole planet is like marshes and mist and Scottish Highlands.
I can get my peat iron out of the bog.
Forge your claymore.
Yeah. So the Thunderhawk is put down alongside some sort of large building. So whereas most of what you overflew, if you saw it from the ship, was a feudal world, basically. So people still living in tribes and clans in a mostly feudal environment. This building you've landed in front of is modern technology, or at least as modern as the Imperium goes. It's still grimdark, plenty of skulls, plenty of smoke producing pipes, but it's clearly some sort of industrial or research center. And it is guarded on the outside by a dreadnought painted in Storm Warden livery. So you're here with the chapter master, Mechaleer, who leads you towards this building. He gives like a nod of acknowledgement to the dreadnought, who makes absolutely no response whatsoever. But the door opens up, and out comes a man wearing what's effectively a lab coat, just with some extra knickknack. You're not sure, like he's certainly got the trappings of a Magos Biologus, but also like the symbols on his coat of the Adeptus Terra rather than of the Adeptus Mechanicus. So he has, sort of the typical sort of like the thing that can drop down with like different magnifying glasses and that, but it's coming up on his head. He's dark skinned. I'd say like what we would sort of would give like say a Middle East or Lebanese appearance, sort of to. So we're sort of like something between being olive skinned and dark skinned, with a thin beard. Looks has a sort of overworked look as well. So it's MacLear that speaks first. Lord Commodore, this is our head of research here, Ishmael Gerza of the Officio Medicae. For your benefit, Dave. Oh, you're on mute. Sorry, Pono.
Sorry. I was trying to remember if we know that there was some sort of plague here, or if it was just only Andrew.
Well, you know about the plague, right? That they said don't come to the planet. I've specifically not told you anything because this guy told me that if you know the secret, you can never leave.
So we don't know the secret behind the plague. We just know there is a plague.
Yeah, there is a plague here.
Okay. So Pierre doesn't extend his hand to shake it because.
Wow, you just fucking like Princess Diana this dude? What's wrong with you?
Dave, for your benefit, the Officio Medicae that this guy works for, they have a tie-in to the Orders Hospitaller. So whereas your order is technically part of the Ministorum, because the Hospitaller are like the medical side of it, there is often some communication and connection with the Officio Medicae, which basically is the body which looks after all sorts of anything to do with the public health of the Imperium, basically. They're the Imperial CDC.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, Jesus, they're so incompetent.
I do have a question about the value that they place on average Terrans. Is that how you say people?
Or humans?
Yeah, like when a plague comes through, is it literally like they just want to cut the head off a snake and just like they quarantine everyone and let everyone die, and then
100%. The Officio Medicae is like the first thing they do is quarantine, and if they can't solve the problem, then you can either just wait for it to die out or firebomb it from space.
Okay. So they don't care about saving individual lives too much about that.
They care about the fact that if you have to wipe out a planet, that planet's productivity drops to zero, and if that planet was, for example, responsible for supplying food to a sector, that has problems. So it's more about the wider costs than the individual costs.
Right. Okay.
The foundations are strong. We can rebuild.
Maybe not now. All right. Oh, I love Korg. It was having just watched Thunder last night. I've got Korg on the brain still. So. Yeah. Anyway, please come in. Let me show you our facility. So MacLear sort of pulls Ishmael aside briefly and speaks to him privately while you're sort of walking in. The inside of the building itself is laid out like you would expect a hot lab to be. So effectively, it's got lots of sectioned off areas with airlocks, different people working on some bodies, some living people. Those of you who've got Medicae can give me a test to sort of try and ascertain the nature of the research they're doing.
I don't think
it's probably only Don.
Yeah.
This is unassisted, yeah? So no first aid or anything? Okay.
No. 1 degree, okay. So you'd say that a lot of what they're doing, so a lot of people have like the probes hooked up to their temples and such. Like a lot of it is more about the mind rather than the body. So you don't see sort of they're certainly like corpses under autopsy, but they're obviously more interested in autopsying the brain, or like that plays a more key part. There's also a number of devices in here that, while you never used them before, you can tell that they are based around psychic examination. So various devices to sort of, to measure a person's soul or the like. There's also Androchiron, you'll probably pick up as well. A number of things in here that are the I guess the physical equivalent of nulls. So Imperial device is designed to dampen psychic fields. You can sense straight away like the sort of the weakness of the veil in here where there are dampeners around.
Sure, but I expected something like this coming down based on what I was. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and he's
So
already used to the incredible pain of being near null. So just kind of.
I'll pass on something along the lines of like, make sure what's a good word to describe how I'd say it? Steady yourself and center your mind, because this will be a test on your mental fortitude. This is not an ordinary plague that affects the flesh.
I think Androchiron frowns when you say that, and he says, "Do not look too heavily into the source of this plague. I can only warn you so many times of the fate that will await you. Those who delve too deep into the mysteries of Sacris cannot leave."
Isn't this plague why we're here?
Androchiron says nothing and continues to follow McLear and the scientist.
Well, so once because McLear took Ishmael aside to have a quick chat.
Well, then as we're all sitting around here.
Yeah. But
I think what Nero's trying to say, the less we know, the better.
Androchiron.
Androchiron.
Sister Dawn, could I ask you for a couple of things, like the most powerful antifungal agents you have, the most powerful hand sanitizer you have, a full antibiotic spread?
I feel like you have knowledge to share, but for whatever reason you're deciding that it's important to not share.
I think he's also implying he has weak fortitude.
So, when Androchiron came up with his shitty plan, his logic was 25, but now it's 70. he got a lot smarter last time we met. So he's realizing, yes, he does need the Emperor's extra strength anti-athlete's foot cream. He does need it because probably there's going to be some Nurgly shit in the future, but also there's some space creatures from the warp that aren't technically chaos monsters, but are warp monsters that can use psychers to enter into this realm and go blah, 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 and then more of them come out. It's bad. It's not great. So he's looking for like a full spectrum treatment before he does anything here. And he's just asking Dawn. And, when you say something like, I think Androchiron doesn't want to talk about stuff here, he just kind of smiles. Because he's already told you twice. He doesn't want to tell you for your own safety, and you've ignored him repeatedly.
I'm literally like a fucking reincarnated right hand of the God Emperor, and you're telling me that I shouldn't care about things. It's like...
Listen, the God Emperor told me to do this, all right? Androchiron the twice sanctioned.
Section.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
So if you're not willing to share and you're going to put us all in peril, well, not me, but
I've put
everyone
all
else.
of us in peril several times. No one has complained until this point.
Yes, but
We all
that's because I
routinely
think
put each other in peril.
It's a bad plan, Androchiron.
You don't even know
Peril.
what the plan is, Master Thorne.
Exactly.
No, you explained the plan to us. On
We
the
know
ship.
we know the original plan, which the original plan was a stretch. That's admittable. That was a calculated risk.
There is a plague here that requires a solution.
Mm-hmm.
We may have the capability to overcome it. But again, if we were to fail to overcome it, those who know of the plan would not be allowed to leave. And I cannot risk any of the three of you not being present at the final battle.
So
All three of you are absolutely critical and must make it to the final location. It cannot be opened without the Lord Captain Pierre Cowles. And Master Thorne is our failsafe, and Sister Dawn is literally the last beacon of hope of the Imperium in this quest against the Master of Change? I don't know what Tzeentch's weird names are.
Are you saying
Changer of
that
ways.
you
Changer
will
of
not leave
ways.
this place?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that I am expendable, and that this is part of the mission that I was sent here to do, and that I cannot risk any of you.
By your words, you're saying because you know you will not be able to leave this planet.
My hope is that if we solve it, I will be allowed to leave. But if we cannot solve this, and if additional conditions cannot be met, the three of you must be allowed to leave. That is also why I haven't told you. And then I lean down and I pick up my gyrax. And I look at him and I go, don't read my mind. Don't read my mind. As I ruffle this mane, I was like, don't read my mind.
That just makes me want to read your mind more.
I know.
You know,
No, if
I'm
I
not
die,
sure
the gyrax
why-
size, right?
I'm not sure why you continue to be so fixated on being a martyr, but it's actually starting to get really annoying. I knew a man who was like that before you, and his personality grated on me till no ends.
Don, being a martyr is like the ideal death for most Imperial
Yeah,
citizens.
Androchiron just says, he's like, yeah, I'd love to die as a martyr. That would be amazing. Everything I've learned since birth has prepared me for it.
I will admit the whole mindset of a martyr is quite perplexing, but
you're literally bringing the Lord Captain to your martyrdom as well. I want to point that out.
As
it
I've
sounds like he's
explained.
trying to keep it out of his martyrdom, actually.
He brings you to the planet that has a plague on it.
We have dealt with several things that are worse than a plague.
Yes.
Remember that time Adrian was, well, actually, Androchiron wasn't there for that.
I want to point out that this is not an ordinary plague, which you knew about before we came here.
Yes. If I thought that this was a solo adventure and not designed for 4 players, I would have left all of you behind. The game master gave me a very specific look, and I turned to look at the shadowy figure in the corner who's just finishing up on a petri dish.
So at this point, Maclear and Gerza return.
Thank God.
So Gerza sort of starts to, it's by way of introduction, so do the typical sort of show you around without tell you anything at all. You know, like, oh, this is the machine that goes ping, and you know, we've been working here for this many years, and you know, there's sort of like just filling the air with conversation right now while Maclear briefly pulls Androchiron aside.
Yep.
Yeah. Just speaking with the administrator here, he tells me that psychic activity associated with the victims has risen substantially since your ship arrived in system.
Oh.
This is that's Androchiron only.
I'm sorry.
All of our ears start burning. Something.
No, I'm just laughing at that prospect of we bring the chaos. That's.
Has this happened before?
No.
Have you had any other psychers
Gerza.
arrive in the past few years?
Yes, we have members of the Librarius come by to test our Librarius recruits.
I have told you that I believe that we are moved by the will of the God Emperor. I take this as a sign that we are being challenged and tested. And I know that you do not see the situation in the same way as I do. Is there anything else you can tell me about psionic psyker emanations that are happening?
Let's hear what the administrator has to say,
Very well.
and then if you and I need to talk afterwards separately, we can.
Very
But I
well.
want you to know about this situation with your ship.
I appreciate your cooperation in this.
He doesn't say anything and just leads you back over to where everyone else is. And once you're all back together again, Gerza switches from tour guide mode to actually, you know, talking about useful stuff. So we've been on this research for some time now. What we have determined is that whatever this plague is, it affects the victims at a psychic level. It doesn't seem to cause any particular activities. Like they're not being controlled as far as we can tell. But what we are seeing is that when multiple individuals are affected by the plague in the same area, they start to form a gestalt consciousness. They experience a sort of a linking of minds. They're not able to directly share information, but we're able to pick up theta waves that are shared between multiple individuals, and the effect seems to grow exponentially over time. So it starts extremely weak, but within a matter of a few weeks, they're measurable. They're almost visual signs of what's happening here. So people start to exhibit similar activities or similar actions, and the concern is that over time, because this situation grows substantially, that it will start to have other effects, given that it's connected somehow to the warp, that may then start to manifest in the form of potential warp corruption, mutation, or like, we always ensure that any sufferers are destroyed before it gets to this point, but we examine those that are alive while it's safe to do so. At this point in time, even with the help of psychers, physicians, other experts, we've been unable to find any way to halt or stop this condition other than to place the person into complete stasis.
Have any navigators or psychers looked into around these facilities?
We have not brought the Navis Nobolite to this facility, although psychers definitely, we've had diviners, we've had psychometabolicists, individuals who are well experienced with the mind, the body, and the warp, examine the victims. They can see this, that they relate the changes within the person as similar to the effects of a warp engine. So it's increasing, effectively, the strength of the warp inherently grows around the individual, thinning the veil between worlds as they. But if they are separated by a considerable distance, then it doesn't continue to grow. It only grows when they are within a similar proximity. But there is no way to reverse it once it does begin to grow.
I'm sorry to ask such a basic question, Administrator, but this facility is sufficiently purity sealed?
Yes, we've had... so at this point in time, we're not yet 100% certain on the vector of contagion. So we take all care in terms of avoiding biological contaminants, but we haven't yet verified that this condition is spread by anything other than pure chance. So researchers have been affected by it in the past, despite using full decontamination protocols. We ensure this facility is as remote as possible. We ensure that we have all manner of physical and psychic barriers. I mean, I'm here representing the Adeptus Terra. The High Lords are aware of what we do here and have sanctioned this operation.
What was the name of the weird psyker aliens that killed all of our psychers?
Sinushin.
I enter into a brief discussion with him about Sinutians, if this could be some sort of offshoot of their ability to target psychic eminence from people.
We examined the Sinushin connection very early on. We had psychers determine that there were no embryonic Sinushin being implanted in the victims. What's more, the Sinushin situation only affects psychers, whereas psychers seem to be more at risk from this, and the power grows faster, this will affect non-psychers as well.
I thought the Cynusians also infected other people. Well, like,
No,
or was their attacks?
they can only reproduce through laying eggs in the minds of psychers.
Like Cynusians, have there been any signs of physical manifestation?
Yes. So we have he sort of like goes to a console and pulls up some grainy video feeds of when they've been doing various experiments in the lab, and they're different timestamps. They've happened probably 3 times in the last 10 years, where during an examination of a live patient that's gone where the power has grown quite substantially, and they've introduced some sort of like psychic buffer or brought people too close together who were suffering badly. A phenomena has started to occur within the lab of what looks like similar to the formings of a warp portal, but by executing the person involved, by executing the victim, that seems to stop whatever it is.
How many new infections do you get?
Probably about 5 to 10 per year.
And they are
depending.
People within this facility or on this planet or within this sector?
Only people on Sacris or in High Castle. So High Castle is the moon, the fortress monastery.
And you have no access to a house of Navis Nobilite?
No, we've not requested it. I'm sure if we were to make the request through the High Lords that someone will be sent, but it's not a connection that we felt that whatever I would say that whatever a navigator could determine, a psyker could just as easily determine.
Yeah, this is troubling to me. So James, I know that most people can't look at the warp, right? It'll basically just instantly demolish them.
Yes.
Let me ask a couple of follow-up questions then.
Okay.
People also can temporarily, if they could withstand it, they can also temporarily transit through the warp. Like any passing demon could come over and try to, possess them, but they won't explode just from walking through the warp, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, keep in mind, for example, that teleportation takes you through the warp. Yeah.
All right. The final question is, we know that Dawn can transit into the warp, correct? Or at the very least, see into it. Yep. That's what I'm worried about.
I see we're on similar trains of thought.
Does Sister Dawn have any way to control her ability to see into... Actually, I can see into the warp as well, right? That's how I basically used to see. But does Dawn have any control over that?
So you don't see into the warp. What you see is you see manifestations of the warp in the physical world.
Okay.
So therefore you see somebody's soul, but you're not looking into the warp space.
Right. A navigator could as well, though.
Yes,
but
a navigator
could look into the warp.
Open their third eye.
Yeah.
Dawn didn't so much look into the warp, but Dawn looked at the warp from within the oculus of the ship while the ship was in the warp. She couldn't see across. But
she could withstand it if
she could. Yes.
Okay. Fuck.
Yeah.
Everything you're telling me is worse. James, I'm coming up with some crazy plans here, man. We gotta tone this one back. I don't have to solve this all this very second. I'm gonna let this one chill for a minute, maybe let other people ask some questions or get some ambient dialogue in before I reveal my horrible plan I'm putting together.
Administrator, have any of the more recent victims been Space Marines?
Yes. So Space Marines, we inter in stasis until a cure can be found.
But they are not any more resistant to this disease than a normal human.
No.
Out of character, what part of this information that I feel like we're getting now was the information that was going to kill us?
So none of this stuff is stuff that's going to kill us. It's the fact that the whole first company is down here with this thing, and that it's actually the Nemesis warp. Yeah, the Nemesis warp people, not
the Nemesis incident.
Yeah, the Nemesis incident.
Specific people that are the issue, not that, because they
and
just told us
and how the plague came into being.
Right. And the Jericho Reach and the Dark Pattern. And
okay, all right.
I'm trying to keep you all alive, okay? In my own crazy way where I'm about to kill all of us.
I'm just worried how forthcoming this person's been so far with the information, especially, the Astartes being plagued by this. This person might just doom the rest of us just by
that's
accident.
certainly not public knowledge, but that's also something that's not necessarily the you must die if you know.
Yeah,
knowledge.
we hang out with Inquisitors all the time.
Yeah.
They just casually drop knowledge like, hey, there's a secret inquisitorial fortress. And I'm like, should we really know about that?
That's right. When an Inquisitor tells you it's not illegal.
You have to tell me if you're an Inquisitor.
I don't even feel like 40K is like that. It's like, hey, I'm an Inquisitor. I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
Because usually it's followed by, give me this thing. Or else. And
that was Nero's original reaction to the Inquisition.
You give it to them, and then they or else you it anyway.
All right.
So MacLear steps aside a moment. It's clearly like on a communicator or something. He's sub-vocalizing, and he turns back a moment later and says to the group, "Is there a reason why my augurs are picking up one of your ship's warp and plasma engines coming to yield?"
Oh boy. I can't wait to hear about this one.
Which ship?
I believe the Hand of Calixis. Its engines are starting up.
It's a mutiny. It's the rogue, insane navigator. He's taking over the ship. I hold out a Vox for the Lord Captain, and I start dialing the ship.
Well, it's so the as soon as you had the Vox, MacLear's like, we're blocking all your Vox traffic. Well, he sends a message on his communicator to unblock your Vox traffic. At that point, like straight away, the Vox starts ringing the moment they're no longer blocking it.
Please hold for the Lord Commander.
Why are the ship's engines starting?
It's the navigator, sir. He's activated the Navis Imperative. He's taking control of the ship using the emergency controls that navigators have to steer around warp phenomena.
Warp phenomena?
Oh Jesus!
We're not in the warp, but it's the ship system works just as well in real space.
Yes, I understand you're not in the warp. I'm understanding why he is taking control. Someone lock him out of that.
No,
so
he may be better off than we are. Listen, if you see a warp meteor coming towards you, you move out of the way. That's what I think's happening.
Did he at least explain anything? Can you patch me through to him?
He's not. There's no response in the Oculus. He's locked himself in there and he's taking control of the ship.
Send Riani.
We're trying to find Riani at the moment.
Let's say Riani could just blast through the door.
She's in there with him. They're having a navigator duel to the death.
I'll see if I can get up there as soon as possible to get things settled.
No worries. You can also hear, like nearby, MacLear is on his communicator telling his people to get a firing solution on their hand just in case.
Well, we technically only need one ship to get through this campaign, but I'd really like the Hand of Calixis to be that ship. Yeah.
See if Ivy can somehow stop the systems to be able to be firing up.
Yeah. So we're the whole point of the Navis imperative is that if the rest of the crew is corrupted by chaos, the navigator can still bring the ship to safety. It's the system that's designed to be a failsafe. It has no failsafe of its own, but we're getting. We're contacting Ivy. We're contacting everyone we can to try and sort this out.
Okay, I'll be there as soon as I possibly can.
I don't think we can go back. I think whatever's happening is happening now.
So MacLear's looking at you. When you're off the Fox, MacLear looks at you expectantly. So what's happening?
I don't know. My navigator, it seems to be going AWOL. Can I be let to go back to my ship so I can figure out what's going on?
Yes. We'll take you back on the Thunderbird, on the Thunderhawk. I'll come with you.
Excellent.
You.
Sorry.
I mean, I see that means all of you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they wanted to stay down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think
I
Adrian wants
think
to stay on this side.
Androchiron does want to stay down here.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Would you two like to stay down here and watch over Androchiron?
Why are you staying down here?
I would like to investigate this plague more thoroughly. I have an inkling of a plan.
And when you say inkling,
Is it different?
It's your plan, or is it like the God Emperor's plan?
Is it different than your original plan?
Yes, it's worse.
Are you one of those people that just come up with plans and say it was divine inspiration? Because I'm starting to believe that that's not what happened.
So it's
Like,
worse than the plan that
Yes.
is already terrible.
Sister Dawn, I hate to talk down to you as you are a living saint, but doubt is unbecoming of a member of the Imperial faith. If you look for proof of the Emperor's hand in my God Emperor's hand in my path, I need only ask you to look me in the eye.
How much
Does have eyes, though.
how much of your this is a little weird question, but how much of your machinations, Arthur, have been exposed to where you're like trying to involve other deities and stuff like that?
I mean, he straight up told us the plan about
You were-
going
I
to
was going
Northwest
to
Garden.
Aisha.
Yeah. That's why Adrian has been like, this is a bad plan. We
It
need
is
to
a
not
bad
do
plan.
this plan.
So Dawn will just say, like, it's like, at this point in time, I don't believe that you're of the right mind to make any sort of calls like this.
So,
you might have been,
Androchiron
you might have had a divine conversation, but the fact that you're willing to jump in the bed with heretical deities is a step beyond what I'm willing to accept.
Any history of the Imperium will include that we must do what we can in order to advance the faith. That we have made strange bedfellows with Eldars and worse in a desperate attempt to survive as humanity. Your lack
the people
of faith
that make those
is disturbing.
Those people, the people that make those connections, like the Lord Captain here, are a part of families that have been doing that for generations.
My orders come from the highest.
As do mine. And you see the confrontation that we're having right now.
If Androchiron wishes to stay down here by himself, that's fine. If you do not wish to stay with him, that's fine.
No, I just want to know where his intentions lie, because they are changing so rapidly. If they are really like inspired by the divine, then his path should be always clear.
When witches, I'm saying this with a member of the Adeptus Terra nearby and a chapter master. I say, when witches questioned me as to what my greatest wish was, it was that the Horus Heresy be undone. And yet you still question my faith. They told me that I would be doomed for that wish. I have been killed for that wish times beyond measure. And yet you still question my faith and my resolve.
It's not me you have to win over with this argument. You understand that, right? I'm like an arrow. I know where I need to go. My course is set and it is unwavering.
I have nothing further to add. You either have faith in the God Emperor or you do not, Sister John. Your doubt
That is
test the
a lot coming
situation.
from you. That is an awful lot coming from you, Androchiron. I am willing to believe that you have had confrontation with the God Emperor. I'm willing to believe that he set you on a path. But I'm also willing to believe that your path has been diluted with other machinations beyond your understanding.
That is possible.
Or you have simply misinterpreted the message.
Also possible. And yet, I do not believe that to be so.
I think you should discuss this with members of the clergy that can help you understand what you've seen.
Lord Captain, I would ask that I remain here. I understand you have a situation to resolve. I also have one here, and I gesture to the quarantine zone.
But this is part of your plan, and if you have to stay here to do it, proceed.
Let us hope that the encounter waiting for you in the navigator's chamber is not a 4-player encounter.
And what would you have of me, Lord Captain?
Don, you can either stay here with him if you're worried, or you can come to the ship with me to help me settle the situation up there.
I bet you're the type of person when asked what you want for lunch, you say, I'm good, but then they bring up an offer and you say, no, I'm not feeling that. I will go with you.
No, I'm the person with the lunch that I get delivered to every day. If it's not what I want, then I shoot the chef. That's not
Bring
true.
on the new chef.
I wanted my partridge medium rare!
That's not true. That's a bad
idea. You might
idea.
recall back in the first season when I put out to the audience to pick members of the ship's crew they wanted to do. It was Rad wanted to be cook. He wanted to take the cook. Yeah,
but it's like a generational thing, right? So he's the Rad the 27th, master of lobster.
Right. So everyone but Androchiron steps outside. The moment you step outside the building, the dreadnought that was outside is actually turned back towards the building and is like effectively brandishing its assault cannon in a I guess a manner of implied threat, although he actually appears to be pointing the assault cannon at the chapter master. And the dreadnought's vocalizer comes on and says, "It is time to awaken the ward master." And
all right, you're reacting, Spoon. What the fuck is going on now? I don't know anything about this. What the hell's a ward master? Chapter the third captain or something? I don't know.
Adrian doesn't know what that means.
I'm asking you. You're the motherfucker that.
It's time. It's time to wake up the dude who decided to put everyone in stasis.
Great. That's terrible.
And so the chat must not now, Asgard. There's a situation, and it is repeats. It is time to awaken the ward master.
I think in people Adrian's more afraid of. He's more afraid of the dreadnought than he is the chapter master.
I mean, both can kill you equally as bad, but one does it in a bigger fashion.
Can I check this guy for corruption?
You're inside.
I'll have you know, gentlemen, I took step aside.
Nice. I think Adrian looks over. The chapter master is with us.
Yeah.
I'll look up and what does he say? What does that mean?
It means we're going to High Castle. Everyone on board the Thunderhawk.
I'll tell
Do
you
I
when we
get
get
to go
there.
to my ship to share what's going on there?
Shall we fetch the psyker?
He sort of looks back and says, "That's up to you. He may have some use here. He may have use where we're going. I don't know yet."
Sounds like he's made his choice.
Adrian will go back inside for Androchiron.
Yeah. So while you're going back inside, McLear turns to you, Pierre, and says, my latest information is that your ship is currently making void towards High Castle with its warp engines powering up.
Where's High Castle?
It's the moon of Sacras. There's a reason why ships don't go to warp unless they're outside the system. If your warp engine activates this close to the moon or this planet, it would be devastating.
Yes. If
we can't solve this, I need to destroy your ship.
Very well, I understand. I'll send a message up there to evacuate everybody else as fast as possible.
You want to evacuate like 25,000 people?
Yeah, you just open
I don't
the
know how
doors.
long.
They'll fall out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
at
sure
least
we
that.
did that to a ship once because we had to kill all the Xenos on board.
Yeah.
It didn't work as well as I hoped.
Yeah, they're just floating around in space, ready to just latch onto something.
So you're inside, Arthur, like just sort of talking to Ishmael about what your next. So what were your next steps going to be out of interest?
All right. I mean, it's changing every time you say something new, James, because now I want to know if the dreadnought is infected. You know what I mean?
So you don't know what the dreadnought yet. You are inside.
I know, but that is my plan as a player. I want to know if the dreadnought is infected.
Okay.
All right. Here is my terrible fucking plan, James. Here's my plan. Dawn is clearly not going to agree with it, which is why I didn't want her to be here. My plan was to ask them to intentionally let a warp portal open and then go through and start murdering the enslavers on the other side where they're more murderable.
That sounds awesome.
We know that they're parasites that are infecting through the warp, and we can't, like, if Space Marine librarians can't affect them from over here, Androchiron is not going to be able to affect them from over here. But if we just go through and we find them sucking people's brains and we just fucking shoot them and stab them, they're going to be super murderable. You know, I think they're a little distracted. And by now, they're probably not expecting it. So my plan is to let them to one person do, because we know they've done it before. They've opened warp portals. I think we saw a video of it happening, right?
Yeah.
That they opened one. We go through it and we kill in there, and then we come back as quickly as possible.
Okay, so
surely there will be no problems with
still,
such a stupid plan, but
you're still trying to convince Ishmael of that plan when Adrian comes back in again.
That conversation they had was like 10 seconds. I haven't even started talking to him. I'm still introducing myself to him. Hello, I'm Andrew Chiron.
It was more a case if you were like, take me straight to see somebody in one of the examination rooms. But no,
I didn't even turn the chair backwards yet. You know what I mean?
All right, so Adrian comes back in quite a fluster.
Mm-hmm.
Androchiron, there's something of grave importance happening on High Castle and in orbit right now that could cause the destruction of this entire system.
Yes.
I have a plan.
Someone starts a warp engine nearby?
Yes, I have a plan, but it requires your assistance and for us to get closer. We're flying up to the Fortress Monastery now.
But it'd be really awkward.
Can you explain your plan in 30 seconds or less? Elevator pitch.
You are going to mind control the navigator that's in control of our ship right now.
That is a good plan. That is potentially incredibly dangerous.
I think Adrian just goes, I know, let's go, and turns and walks out.
There's one problem.
What's that?
McLear will not let me leave the planet.
I think he'll be fine with you going to the Fortress Monastery.
Sure, we'll talk. If he shoots me in the face as soon as I ask, that's on you. So I leave. I leave to go with
might be
Adrian.
on you.
All right. When you go outside, so probably now, like Spoon noticed it earlier, or Aiden noticed it earlier, but now at this point, when you come out Androchiron, you also notice that McLear now has his Stormbolter in his hand as well.
Yeah,
He's
like, is there a clear, obvious, easily detectable tension between a dreadnought who is threatening the entire party and a chapter master who's like, oh boy, I'd love to get this gun in line with your body.
There is a definite tension in the air out there.
All right, I want to check this guy
yeah.
for warp corruption.
Okay, no worries. Give me a Psyniscience test, please.
I will indeed give you a Psyniscience test. Can I take a moment to invoke to give myself a +10 before that?
Sure.
All right, let's hope I don't fail the invocation. Boom, nailed it. Okay, I need that 10.
I don't know what invoking is.
There we go.
It's
3.5.
basically he, does a little like he does a little spell casting.
But I
I'm
like
using
to believe
my
that
minor
it's
spell
him just
powers.
like pumping himself up,
I can do it.
Oh,
It's
my
affirmation.
invocation? My invocations are probably, I mean, at this point, they've probably changed to be somewhat more religious in nature. But yeah, he like takes a moment to center himself and, remember maybe like runes. Well, no, runes are pretty Eldari.
He quotes a passage from some scripture.
Oh yeah, for strength, certainly strength of mind and alacrity. All right.
Okay, the Dreadnought is completely free of corruption.
That is so much worse. I have so many questions for him, and yet I don't know the situation, so I don't ask anything. I just go with Adrian, clueless.
Looking at the chapter master, I go, is the Dreadnought going to come with us or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I turn to
So
the
it-
dreadnought
it-
and
it-
I give him a short bow and I say, "I'm sorry, we haven't been introduced. I'm Androchiron, the twice sanctioned. Who are you?"
It turns away and starts walking towards the Thunderhawk.
Perfect.
A lot of very rude people today.
There's definitely that moment of pause where it's like you can imagine, you just see that clock, do I respond? I haven't got time for this shit, and turns around and starts walking away.
All right,
So,
I turn to them and I say,
Dreadnoughts, dude.
"What's going on with that guy?"
He said something about it being time to awaken the Ward Master.
That's concerning.
It sounds ominous.
Well, his mind is completely free of corruption.
That's one would expect.
I turn to the chapter master and I say, "Is he a librarian?
no.
How would he know it was time to awaken the chapter or to awaken the ward master?"
I'm wondering that myself.
Great, no one has any idea. Perfect. Shall we get moving then?
I suppose we'd better.
To the ship.
Chapter
What he does
master
have, what he
McLear.
does have is a new spheric link with the other ancients.
Are any of them currently infected?
None of the ancients are infected,
Oh, okay, that's very nice.
and
Yeah.
they're all on High Castle.
Interesting. Okay.
Must be nice to have a new sphere link. Yes. Chapter Master McLear, are you going to let me leave this planet?
Yes, to go. So it's the system is the boundaries of our arrangement for now.
Okay. Of course. Appreciate that. Love not being shot in the head. Just
Most
kidding.
people-
I can't wait to die. Androchiron smiles like a fucking lunatic. He's
Yeah,
consistently been waiting to die.
You have the strangest relationship with possible death and life. It's interesting.
When you
Also
say
slightly
that,
worrying.
I pick up my Jarynx and I just start petting him.
You all pile back into the Thunderhawk, which then takes off and clamps the dreadnought underneath to carry it into space.
I
Love
assume
it.
they have to do it
Love
a
it.
couple tries like a crane game.
It's a drop clamp. It's like a what do you call that? The games where you got to
Yeah,
try
crane
and
game.
Yeah,
the crane game.
Yeah, that's exactly
The
how I thought it
claw.
was.
The claw.
I also like to imagine the operator as like some like pot belly, greasy, like wife beating wearing like cap guy sitting in the trunk being like, it's a job, you know, like.
All right, well, that's a good chance to take a break.
James, every time you say something new, I have to come up with a new plan as you make the situation so much worse. Listen, my plan, it's a dumb plan, but it's also awesome to go through a warp portal and kill enslavers in the warp.
I kind of want to do that too, to be honest with you.
I know that you want to do it, but Dawn probably would not want to do it.
It's the plot of Doom, right?
Except none of us are Doom guy. That's the problem here.
I'm pretty close
Dawn
to
is
Doom guy.
Doom guy. Dawn is Doom guy.
Closest among us.
Yeah.
But Among Us. Yeah, this is the Among Us episode for sure. I am the Oracle.
Everyone just vents. Androchiron. Just
So
like,
sus. All right, we'll be back in it. Oh wait, that says ending. No. Intermission. There we go. All right, we'll be back when we're back.